Awesome. Hey, Leanne Jones, I'm going to go ahead and let's get started.
Okie dokie. Feel free to steal the screen share there, Carol.
Okay. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to see the community? Okay, thanks, Leanne. Hi, everybody. This is Carol Crone from STS. I am the director for the STS National Database. Today, I'll review with you the community page, otherwise known as the Executive Summary Dashboard that was released over the weekend for General Thoracic Surgery Database. We have this available for adult cardiac and congenital already. It took a little bit longer due to some of the new risk model changes that had come out of defining patient populations to make this available for the general thoracic side. But we were able to get it done and successfully release it over the weekend. We had one little issue, but that has been resolved where star ratings weren't appearing correctly on the widgets. So the purpose of today's webinar is to, probably won't need the whole hour. We'll be available to answer questions, of course, if you have any specific to this dashboard or to anything else that's going on in general thoracic. But the purpose for today's webinar is to review each of the sections or widgets within the report and what their intent is for. So we'll go through that and then answer any questions you have, and then we'll open it up for discussion about anything else you want to talk about. And we can end early if there's nothing to discuss further. So the first thing I want to say is that this is what you'll see now when you log into the IQVIA platform. It'll automatically default to the community page when you log in. This is also referred to as the Executive Summary Dashboard. To get to the other places that you would see before, like the uploader page and things like that, just look over on the left-hand side and you'll see those sections. I don't have a site that I have access to right now with that. Let me see if I can find one real fast here. Here we go. When this is an adult cardiac, just for an example, when you log in, it automatically defaults to the community page or the executive summary. On the left-hand side is where you're going to find the selections for upload form management. They'll be over here. So instead of defaulting on this screen when it logs in, you'd now have to choose the upload section, and then the form management is your participant forms. I'm going to go back here to a general thoracic site. So that's kind of the just first thing to understand. When you log in, you'll land here. To go back to the uploader screen, just look under the platform section and you'll see an uploader button over here to select. Also, the main basic functions of these pages is that for right now we have 4 widgets, which are also sections. It's this block here. They call these widgets. We have 4 widgets on this report. The first one is the composite quality ratings. The next one are bar graphs specific for lung resection. The third is bar graphs specific to esophagectomies. And the fourth is a current harvest missing unknown summary report. We'll go through each of these in more detail. When I talk about widgets, that's what I'm talking about. Another neat part of the functionality for this report is over here on the settings page. This little wheel is you can select the order in which the widgets appear on your screen, and it's user specific. So if you want to have it set up one way and your counterpart or one of your surgeons or somebody in administration who has access to IQVIA platform wants it set up another way, you can certainly do that. You can remove things remove widgets from this section if you no longer want to see them there. And to change them, you would just click on it. You could either change their section, or you could remove them or add them back in. And I'm just going to move that one back up to the top. So that function is there. And the purpose of the Executive Summary Dashboard is intended for a high-level overview of how your site is performing. It's not intended for data cleanup or harvest preparation. It's intended to be shared with your surgeon leaders, your anyone at your hospital who just wants a snapshot of how you're performing. This is what's to be shared with them. We can offer them login information. You could set that up through the help desk, through a participant contact form. The surgeons primarily can just log in here and get a quick good glance of what your star rating was, through fall 2024, or now what your composite of quality rating is for spring 25 and beyond. And then quick overview of some high resource utilization endpoints for both lung and esophagectomies. And then this section, this last widget down here, the current harvest missing unknown summary, is intended to assist data managers with data cleanup and make your job a little bit easier. And we'll get into that just 1 second. So the first widget is the composite quality rating. In spring of 2025, we went from reporting out stars to using language to replace those stars. That was an STS surgeon leadership decision underneath a presidential task force that was convened through Dr. Jennifer Romano, STS past president. That task force decided that for numerous reasons, they were removing the star ratings and going to use the the wording instead. So you'll see as expected, worse than expected, or better than expected listed now instead of star ratings. We have the overall lung cancer resection composite quality rating and the overall esophagectomy composite quality rating. This report is going to provide your last 6 harvests, so your last 2 years worth of harvest for general thoracic will be provided here. So this is a longitudinal representation of how your site's been performing with your composite quality ratings, and it will be displayed in reverse order. So the one that's more recent will be displayed first, and the one that is furthest away that was done a while back would be displayed all the way to the right. The other functionalities on these reports is if you want it to make this bigger, you can click on these double arrows up here. It'll make it a little bit bigger for you, and it kind of hides that information. I think this is just information only. All right, so we're going to go down to the bar graphs. The other thing you'll see is this go to reports. This will take you to the optional reports, which is the same button down here. If you want to go back to the community page, we'll reload. So the next section down is lung resections. This is not, this lung resection includes all lung resections for either primary or secondary cancer cases, so cases with metastatic disease in addition to the primary. So it's not just your analyzed group of patients, it's all of your lung section patients. The reason we combine those is because it's regardless, I guess, if they have primary or secondary disease, patients are still undergoing some type of lung resection, and you would likely want to see all of those cases together when you're looking at resource utilization for these endpoints. So here we have the 5 endpoints that we chose, which are unplanned readmission rate, postoperative length of stay, prolonged ventilation time, unanticipated return to OR, and air leak greater than 5 days. If you have any suggestions on this specific widget, what you think might be helpful to see, if anything you think needs to be removed, it's not helpful. Leanne and I were looking at prolonged ventilation time. That doesn't seem to be an issue for this population, but maybe for some sites it is. If you have any recommendations like that, we're always open to feedback and to take those types of ideas back and discuss them further to see if we could make any changes or enhancements to these reports. So what you'll see on this report is you have your 5 categories. You can enhance or maximize your visualization by using the double arrows. It'll just pull it out. So you have that in one screen, just the one endpoint here in a screen. And we'll walk through this using the bigger screen. It's a little bit easier to see. So you have your site's data for 2022, 2023, and 2024. This is pulled from this data is near real time, meaning that it's updated in near real time, but it's displaying the last harvest data. It's displaying the last time frame. So the last harvest was through December 31st, 2024. That was the spring 25 harvest. The spring 25 harvest includes calendar year 2022, January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2024. So that's why it's displaying that way. It's not updated until after the next harvest comes out. So when the spring results, I'm sorry, these are the spring results. When the fall results are released, you'll see this add another button here, and it will be 2025. It will include 2025 data. You'll see asterisks representing 2022 and 2025 as being partial years for that fall harvest. So you have your site's data, which is updated in real time, but reflecting through the current harvest period, or the previous harvest period. And then you have the STS data, which is static from the harvest that just whichever one was most recently released. So for this report, this is spring 25. This is the STS benchmark, your site's data in near real time. And then you can see how your site's been performing over time. This one is for unplanned readmission rates. And I don't, that's that one. And then to go back, you use the double arrows here. If your site doesn't have any data, for example, this site did not have any prolonged ventilation cases for 2022, 2023, or 2024, you just won't see a bar graph there. It'll just be blank, and then the STS benchmark will be here. For esophagectomy, the next widget is for esophagectomies, and this is all primary and secondary cancer esophagectomies. Same type of idea. We are currently on this, you'll see the 6 sections, all caused unplanned readmission rate, postoperative length of stay, prolonged ventilation, unanticipated return to OR, air leak greater than 5 days, and anastomotic leak type or grade. The air leak greater than 5 days will be removed because that's more specific to the lung cancer section and wasn't supposed to be showing up here, but it is. We're going to have that removed. So you'll end up with the 5 sections of this widget, same functionality, and again, always open to ideas. We might not be able to incorporate everything that comes in because there's always a lot of really great ideas like drill down functionality and things like that. We have to discuss those things with IQVIA and see what we can and cannot do for these reports. But remember that this is just a snapshot. It's intended to just be a quick view for you to share with your surgeons, with your administration, to see how you're doing on high resource utilization endpoints. It's not intended to be used for if you're going into a QI meeting and you want to discuss things in real great detail, talking about getting into specific patient profiles or understanding better exactly who these patients were that are causing you to have high readmission rates. This really isn't the report that you want to use. You're going to want to use the risk-adjusted analyzed reports. Again, this is just primarily a high-level overview. Share this with your internal, with your surgeons, with your administration, or those who are responsible for QI, and see if they like it, see if they have any feedback for us. We want to make this as useful as possible to those people. Now, the next section I hope you do like quite a bit. I hope you like the whole thing, but I'm going to see if I can find a site with some data here. And I guess if I were the one, see, this has just been updated. So there's really no data in these reports yet. I'll tell you why I'm struggling. If I were the one using this report for, just takes a second to refresh itself once you log in. If I was using this report for myself on a daily basis, or as I'm submitting data, cleaning it up, I would probably, I probably don't need to see this all the time, these other widgets. I'm probably going to really want to focus on this current harvest missing unknown. That's going to be most important to me. I don't need to bog myself down with the other information until I need it, until I know a new report has come out, or I want to share that data with somebody else internally. So I'm really want to focus on this current harvest missing unknown summary. This report is updated following the shortly following the close of the previous harvest. So the previous harvest, right now when we're talking about previous harvest, we're talking about the spring 2025 harvest, which included cases through December 31st, 2024. Once that harvest closed and the data was bundled up from IQVIA and sent on over to STS, the surgical date range in this report changed to the next, to demonstrate or to provide the 3 12-month periods that are going to make up the fall harvest. So shortly after the harvest closes, this case, current harvest missing unknown summary is going to shift its dates to reflect the current harvest that you are abstracting for. That's why you're not seeing any cases here. The surgical date range, July 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2025, is going to be the dates included in the fall 2025 harvest analysis, harvest report. The site likely hasn't submitted any cases for the last six months, or hasn't updated this yet. So you're not seeing any cases show up. We might want to check with Melanie to make sure that the site has to submit a case for this harvest period to have these numbers populate. So because I would be expecting to see some data here.
Okay.
Okay, Leanne?
Yep.
Okay. So what will populate then is your number of eligible cases and the number of unknown or missing cases that have unknown or missing coded for these two variables. If you could just keep in mind that when we look at inclusion into analysis, we take a few things into account. Of course, case count is important. So for lung cancer resection, you have to have 30 cases. For esophageal cancer, you have to have 15 cases within that 36-month analytic window. The other thing that we look at is hospital discharge status and 30-day status. The hospital discharge status includes the MTBC stat field. If that field is coded as unknown, or if it's left as missing, it's going to count as missing. Either way, unknown or missing equals missing. And the same thing with 30-day status, or MT30 stat. We combine esophageal cancer and lung cancer resection missingness together to provide a larger N. But however, if you have greater than 2% for the combination of these cases, greater than 2% coded as missing or unknown, you will fall out of being eligible. You will not be included in. You will not be included to receive a quality rating pack. It will display here as a red, yellow, or green status, and you will be able to click on this to show you the case list that meets this. I'll use ACSD as an example here. Site. It just takes a second to load. So ACSD is a little bit different in how we look at missingness, but the functionality is still pretty much the same. You'll have the green for 0% missing. The yellow is going to display when you're at risk of not meeting the requirement for inclusion. Doesn't necessarily mean you're over the missing percent threshold, but you are you're pretty close. You're close to it. So you just want to be really careful. Make sure that the case truly does not have the requirements to be included in that analysis. Make sure that if it is missing, it's truly missing, or if it's unknown, it's truly unknown, and you can't do anything more to get that information. So you'll have your missing, you'll have your eligible, and then your percent. And if you want to know the case that's missing that information, click on that box, and then it'll open up the drill down so you can get directly into that case. I don't have access to that one. Let me see. Go to one more site here. And then red is if they're over the 2% missingness, they'll show up as red. This site doesn't have any, I don't think. I don't know if I can.
I'm looking for some as well, Carol. So if I have one, I'll share.
Yeah, people are cleaning up their data as they're going along. So when I go to find sites and then all of a sudden they're all cleaned up, but that's okay. That's all right. So here's a red site. We click on this. Let's see if I have access. So they have 30 patients who are missing their, this is for isolated cabbage, not specific to general thoracic, but they have a missingness there for the mortality analysis, which is going to include, ACSD has different variables that we look at, but it's going to include the variables. So I could go into these 30 cases, pick one, and it would pull up the data collection for me if I had access, and I would be able to navigate through to see what I was missing. If I have use vendor software, I would then go into my vendor software. If I have the update available, then update it in my vendor software and re-upload a file that contains that case into the IQVIA platform for updating. And usually it take just a few minutes to update on this page. Yes, Leanne.
Oh, do you have access to, I can share where a GTSD site is in the red for percent missing.
Oh, you have data. Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay. So here you can see this participant has,
we
yep.
can't see it yet.
Oh,
there you go.
Please forget that share button. But yeah, here you go, Carol.
All right, it happens. Yeah, perfect.
So yeah, so for 30-day status, this participant has 6 records, and then you can drill down and it'll identify those 6 records for you that are missing 30-day status. And this will be missing or unknown. So if you have unknown for 30-day status, these will be flagged as having missing data in this widget.
Yeah, we just have to find out from Melanie why this is showing 0 for the other ones.
Yeah.
But I'm expecting to see data there. Okay.
All right. I'll turn it back over to you.
That's all I really, I think that's the basics. Let me go back to sharing my screen.
Yep.
And I know we had
we had a few questions, but our first question, a few had said that the report overview had not been posted in the library. It is available now. So I apologize for that. I think it got posted without hitting making it active. So, but it is now available. So if you go into the library and you still don't see it, you may need to just refresh if you're currently in there. But it is right. Yeah, Carol, you may need to refresh because it's posted right underneath the harvest opt-out form and in that top section.
Okay, you think I have to clear my cache?
Here I can share mine.
Let's see if it works. Hold on.
Wait, where?
Yeah, if you're just hitting the refresh button, you might have to hold down Shift and hit the refresh button.
Leanne, actually, it's down below at the very bottom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Melody, she literally
no, if you scroll down, if you scroll, not there though.
Yeah.
I've been to GTSD. Hold on.
Yeah, Melanie moved it on me. It was up and she had it posted up top first, and then now it's down below.
Yeah.
It's right down there at the very bottom.
But it's there.
Okay.
It's there, yeah. And there's a slide that has
the Executive Dashboard overview.
Yeah. There's a slide with the calculations so you can see, but yeah.
Okay. It pretty much goes through everything I think we just talked about. So it'll be in writing for you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I will say we have a couple questions and we can go through those. Michelle says her report does not show the bar graphs for lung resections. It only shows esophagectomy. It should not. You should be able to see both. If you're not seeing both.
The only thing I could think sometimes what happens is check to see if the widget is turned off?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could go to settings, right? The little wheel
Yeah,
thingy.
settings up here. And then just make sure the widget's hidden.
Yeah. Yeah, and Michelle, if that's not the case and you're still seeing this issue, if you could just submit a ticket to the help desk, and then we could have IQVIA look into it. So about the saying, the data in the graphs is analyzed data.
It's not. It's updated in near real time as you're uploading data. It's through the last period. The STS data is benchmarked data.
What does it mean if the esophagectomy composite does not have a rating? So if your esophagectomy composite is just null, it means that you were not eligible to receive ratings for that composite. You may not have met the minimum case requirement. If you're not sure why you didn't get a rating for esophagectomy, you can just submit a ticket to the help desk and they can look into that and let you know why
Yeah.
you'll not receive a.
And nine times out of 10, that's because you either didn't have enough cases or you were over the missing threshold.
Right. Yeah. So you have to have a minimum of 15 eligible cases for esophagectomy to receive a composite rating, quality rating. Stephanie, you have a few cases put in for fall 25 and your chart still says 0 and you know you're missing things. If you could please submit a ticket, and then that way we could look into it and have IQVIA address that, so we can take a look. Same thing with Corey. Sorry, my questions are, yeah, Corey, if you could submit that ticket, that would be great. Same thing, you're still seeing 0, but you have data in there and you know you're missing some mortality discharge status or 30-day status. Please, yeah, just submit that ticket so we can look into that. Is there a way to get a comprehensive report that contains all of the widgets? Is there a way to create a comprehensive report that contains all of the widgets?
I'm not.
I'm not understanding. Do you mean like a PDF? I'm not sure I understand.
Yeah, it might go along with the next question about can you download into the PDF
Okay.
to share with surgeons. I have to check. Let's check with Melanie and the best way to download this. I can't imagine that you couldn't print this out.
Yeah, I don't think we don't have the option for CHSD or GT or ACSD.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Let's check with Melanie.
Did you say the resection sections contain cases with metastatic cancer?
Yes, the sections up here. So for the lung cancer resection, this is all lung cancer resections, not just the analyzed procedures. So it'll be all your lobectomies, all your segmentectomies, all your wedges.
Yep. Can you explain again the time period that STS represents on the graph?
The STS data is for the last analysis.
So
So this is going to, yes, the last 3 years from the previous harvest window. So the previous harvest window for this report was spring 2025. This represents spring 2025 STS data, which would be the January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2024. Is that in the overview, Leanne?
Yes. Yes. And Beth says, yep. So that your data is not analyzed. So correct. The participant data is not analyzed data. The STS data is the benchmark from the current harvest report. Patsy, what is the minimum case count requirement for esophagectomy? So that is 15. Where do you, if the, Michelle, what do you do if the composite rating is for lung or esophagectomy? I only have one set. Can you go up to the composite? I'm not sure I understand.
Where do you
If the
you
composite
if
rating,
the composite rating is for lung or esophagectomy. Oh, so you're not seeing two sets of composite quality ratings. Could you just clarify that, Michelle, and we'll answer it? If you're not seeing two sets, it means that you didn't receive ratings for one of them.
so the missingness is, so the 2% missingness combined now and not individual for lung and esophageal cancer. So, right, so to meet the 2% missingness thresholds, that calculation is based on, because the esophagectomy is a really small N, the 2% missingness threshold is based off of your lung and esophageal cases combined, eligible cases combined. So it's not separated out into, you meet the 2% missingness threshold for lung and you meet the 2% missingness threshold for esophagectomy. It's based on the combined population. And that's also outlined in the analysis report overview. So just if you need documentation or reference there. I've not received the STS National Database News email recently. Who should I contact to get added to the distribution list? If you want to, you can just email me directly, Karen, and I can send you a link. There's a link out on the STS website. Do you have a document that explains what determines star ratings? So that is outlined in your analysis overview. So just a reminder, we're no longer displaying stars. Again, we're just utilizing that descriptive text as expected, better than expected, or worse than expected. And Michelle said you were correct, Carol. So I guess she's only seen the one row.
Yeah, you should still see the 2 rows, but one of them may not have any data. And it's likely because you didn't receive a composite quality rating for that group.
Let's see. Can you please demonstrate how to email the complete harvest report?
Oh boy.
I know. I haven't done that in a while.
All right, let's see. So operational report, GTSD risk adjusted dashboards. We'll go select the period. This is your spring report for 2025 is through December 31st, 24. Apply parameters. And then what the idea is that the surgeons log in and look at the data here. But we know that surgeons are very busy to learn a new IT process. So I think what we're looking at here is how do we want to disseminate these reports to the surgeons so they how do we update the surgeons with the report results without having them have to log into a new platform and all of this, even though it's 5 years old. We'll look at, I just have to wait for this to load better. There we go. So if you're looking at the lung resection composite rating details, I think you want to look at all of these reports.
So you can just hit export report button.
You're better off using the button on the top right.
Yeah.
Will it give me the things that I want
report.
to?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to give you the full report.
That's not what I wanted to do though. I wanted to do the export and then the PDF. And then here I can look at what look at how I'm downloading it. There's some reports, so this gives you everything. And I thought when I downloaded something earlier, you can pick specific pages, I guess, if you know exactly what pages you want to print out. If your surgeons are only and I don't know, can you do that from the export button?
No, the export button up top, yeah, it exports everything, the full report.
Okay, so what when you're putting something together for your surgeons, you're not going to want to give them, they don't care about these pages. What you want to give them, and the reports don't change the paging for the reports don't change too frequently. So it should be pretty static. You just might want to review it before you print it out. But what I would go through is you don't want to give your surgeons all of that. It's wasting stuff, right? Maybe go through and find the pages that you want to print out on the report. Let's see if it's going to that. So I just added page numbers here. It'll show up here down at the bottom. That's pretty small, but it says page 6 out of 30. So that might be where I might want to print page 1. Unfortunately, we couldn't make this look any better on the way that this exports out. That was our only option, to export it out into a PDF. But you might want to start with just do page 1 and then 6. This report is 30 pages long. It looks like what's going to be important. What's going to be important is this is your NIS, STS, and NIS compare for lung cancer. This other stuff doesn't look like it has a whole lot of information on there. I would slim it down that way and just select the pages that you want to print out. I don't know if this is why it's looking this way, though.
Yeah, so there's actually, we've had reports of doing it that way. Formatting issues sometimes come up under some scenarios. And so that's why we recommend hit the export button, because that way is a little bit more solid and you get a better formatted output. And then I think you can take that and edit that whatever way you want before you send it off to the vendor or to the surgeon.
To the surgeon.
Yeah.
Let's see what that looks like.
It looks more refined, and it's the full report. And since it's the full report, it takes a little bit longer, but you can find everything there.
Okay, yeah, let's see what it looks like. I guess it'll load, right, while I'm doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what else?
Tina said she saves the reports to a secured share folder that only the surgeons can see, and then she sends them an email saying the new report is available with a link. She doesn't email it.
Oh, that's smart, Tina. That's a good idea.
And then regarding the comprehensive creating a comprehensive composite quality rating report, she said when she attempted to create a PDF, he or she, I'm not sure who this is, attempted to create a PDF or export an Excel output containing all widgets, the application only displayed the widget last selected. So we'll have to check with IQVIA to see. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we can check with them to see if there's tricks here. Sometimes we can certainly find out more to see.
Our next question, if prior data was updated, example, primary procedure updated to meet inclusion criteria, does prior star rating get updated? So no, we do not go back and rerun star ratings. But you can, obviously you'll update that data and resubmit it, and it would get updated in the next harvest report, but we do not go back and rerun previous harvests. Kelly, when will the analysis overview be updated? So the overview that was currently posted, I'm not sure which version you have, Kelly, but the one out there is the current version. We did not make any reporting changes from the, was it updated for fall? We didn't make any reporting changes for spring 25. So that should be current. If you don't have, if you have any questions, just let me know. But we did not make any reporting updates for the spring 25 harvest. Let's see here. Questions. We have one more. No. Any other questions? But yeah, so like we would. I'm sorry.
Oh.
No, go ahead, Carol.
Go ahead, Leanne.
And I was gonna say, we'd love to get your feedback of things you'd like to see on the dashboard. We're working on enhancements. Like Carol said in the beginning, we're working with IQVIA to see if we can, I don't know, maybe I'd like to see if we could break down, the resections, if we could just look at each subgroup, if you could just focus on your pneumonectomies, your wedges, just to see, so if you have ideas like that of things you would like to see, please give us feedback. You can submit that to the help desk. We review that with IQVIA. So we would love to, this is just the first iteration of the executive dashboard. So we would love to make it something that's super useful, even more useful for you guys. So please, we welcome any and all feedback.
Yes, thanks, Leanne. So this is the export, and this does look better than the other way for sure. But you have 126 pages to go through to find what you want. So I guess it's, Tina, that must be the way that you export it this way, and then just upload this PDF to a shared drive for your surgeon to access, or surgeons to access when it's available, and then they let you know if they have any questions on it. It would be good to get ideas about how people share this with their surgeons. If Tina's way is the most common, if there's other ways, if you're pulling things out and just sharing, making PowerPoint slides out of some of the things for your monthly meeting with your monthly or quarterly QI meeting with them. So that would be good to know. Okay, any other questions?
I don't see any.
And just see what else is in this report. Yeah, bookmark where they need to go.
Yeah.
So I guess it's kind of just like doing it the old days before we had IQVIA. You would get the paper report, or you'd print it out. You'd print out that big old PDF and then just bookmark with little sticky tabs for the surgeons, because they didn't go on their computers at that time very often. So now, but you can bookmark pages on the PDF report. And let me see if I can, let me download this guy and see if I can open it. Hold on.
Yeah. I wish surgeons would go in on their own. I hear you.
Yeah, they don't. They won't.
So Kelly, we're working on the post-op events, those numerators and denominators. Actually, I'm in the process of reviewing that, and that's going to be updated in an upcoming release within IQVIA. So once that's available, we will let you know, and there will also be a notification posted within the IQVIA platform. So it is a work in progress.
So I opened that in Excel, or I've opened that now. I think I'm in Adobe. Looks like it.
Yeah.
And then to add bookmarks, I guess what you could do, you could add in a table of contents, or you can bookmark things. And I have to see how to do that. Add bookmark.
Yep.
And then title it, and it'll put the bookmark there for you. And do you see the bookmarks, Leanne, on this, or do you just have to go over to the bookmark side and then click on?
Yeah, you have to go over to the bookmark.
Okay.
You have to click on the bookmark little icon.
So that's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Would love to see atrial arrhythmias as one of the post-op events highlighted in the resection sections. Yeah, so it's something, if you have ideas like that, please just send them into the STS DV _ help desk, and we keep lists of things for potential enhancements. And that would be one of those things that we would want to consider. We run those ideas by the surgeons, and then by the surgeon leaders at STS. We look at the data to see if it would hopefully be meaningful to a large population, and then we make a decision about adding it in, and then work with IQVIA if it's something we all agree to. So for ideas like that, we'd love to have them. Okay, any other questions or thoughts, comments, or concerns?
see anything.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Have a great
everyone.
rest of the day.
Thanks, Carol.